coming. It's the first impression seeing Sofie for the first time. And right now, everyone is sick.
2 weeks. If you don't get that job, I'm done.
2 weeks? Is that realistic?
For perhaps the very first time in his life, Greg is under pressure. He has to either get a job or risk losing his fiancée. Now, is this something that he should have thought about before she arrived in America? Yes, absolutely. But, as we're quickly learning, Greg isn't exactly the sharpest tool in the shed. But with neither of them working right now, Joan isn't going to let them just sit around and get fat.
I'm scared because I've gained weight in just a few weeks. Greg is like, the thicker your booty, the better. But I feel like this is too thick.
Sorry, Greg, she's onto you, mate. She's foiled your plan. Now, Joan is worried that if she keeps going this way, then she's not going to fit into her wedding dress. In fact, even after Greg's huge weight loss, the truth is he's not all the way there yet. Like, he does still have some weight he needs to shed. So with that in mind, at the risk of Greg taking his foot off the gas, not for the first time, it's good that Joan is there to keep him in check.
We could come here, listen, I'm down to 2, 3 times, 4 times a week, whatever you feel comfortable with, babe, you know? We could even get a gym membership. Now,
from what we've been told, from the photos that we've seen, it seems like Greg is able to put in the work when it comes to weight loss. But in the excitement for Joan's arrival, he's let things go. He's slipped back into bad habits. He's got sloppy with his exercise and he's got sloppy with his work, which, ironically, are 2 of the most important things to Joan. Yeah, like I said, he's not the sharpest tool. And while Greg offers to buy them both gym memberships, the question is, how's he going to pay for that?
How much do gym memberships cost here?
Depends on what type of gym we go to. Could be anywhere from like $10 to $250 a month.
250 would be much.
Oh, 100%. We're not going to that gym. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, $250 for any normal person for a gym membership is outrageous. But Greg also needs to stop laughing at the fact that they're broke. It's not funny. It's definitely not funny to Joan. Like, she's already given him the ultimatum. Either get a job or I'm leaving. I'm going back home where I had a job, where I had a career. And that isn't an empty threat. It's not a threat that Joan's gonna let him just forget about.
I still want to go back if you don't get a real job.
I don't know, it just hurts, baby. It really does that you would say that.
Yes, because I want you to be serious. Like, if I say that, you will be serious.
Look, I know that Joan loves Greg, right? But is she seeing these red flags for what they are? She's had to threaten him just to get him to take finding a job seriously, which, to be clear, is something that's the bare minimum considering that she can't work in America yet. Like, she's signing up to a life of having to continuously threaten Greg just to do the basic stuff. But, thankfully, Greg seems to be out to prove her wrong today. You see, he tells her he's actually got a job interview lined up.
I have an interview.
Where?
Working for the state facilities assistant. It's very serious.
Well, that's good.
Wait, does Greg expect a pat on the back or something? It's taken him literally no time at all to get this interview, right? So why couldn't he have done this on his own? Why did it take Joan coming and nagging him before he got up off his arse and tried to put things right? I mean, yes, it's good, right? Yes, well done. But at the same time, it's also frustrating that he's wasted so much time. He should have done this. He should have started saving up money so that they could move out of his mum's house months ago, heck, years ago. And it's because of that Joan isn't prepared to take it easy on him. She wants more from him.
2 weeks. If you don't get that job, I'm done.
2 weeks? Is that realistic?
Yeah, look, Greg is right here. I don't know how things are in Uganda, right? But in America, 2 weeks to even hear back from a job interview, let alone get a whole new job altogether, can, depending on the job of course, but it can be quite unrealistic. So Joan adjusts. She adjusts her time period to 1 month. She tells Greg, you've got 1 month and counting to get a job or I'm leaving. Now, a part of me does wonder whether there's a false sense of urgency going on. Like, will she actually stick to that arbitrary deadline that she's just set? Or is she just saying that to try and instill some motivation in him? Try and put some wind in his sails, so to speak? Well, I guess time will tell.
I was a little blindsided by this with the deadline today. Never before have I felt that she doesn't believe in me and trust in me. I'm trying to understand where she's coming from, but it's just putting a lot of pressure on me.
That's what you need, Greg. Look at what your life's become because no one's pressured you. It's time to grow up, put on your big boy pants, get a real job, move out of your mum's house, and support the woman you promised to support. Now, speaking of growing up, someone that we've watched grow leaps and bounds recently is Sarper. And today we join them as Sarper is getting ready to meet Shekinah's daughter, Sofie. But given what's at stake, given that Shekinah has made it clear if this doesn't go well, if Sofie doesn't like him, their relationship will be over, Sarper attempts to distract himself and calm his nerves by trying to practice a talent I didn't know he had.
So working on my stand-up routine.
There is nothing scarier than the silence of a woman. It is just like the silence of the lambs, you know? Hannibal Lecter.
Now, Shekinah absolutely nails it with her assessment. She says, and she's completely right here, she says that Sarper is only funny when he's not trying to be, and when he's deliberately trying, well, it's a bit of a disaster. And after Shekinah's cold, unimpressed response as an audience member, it's now time to go and meet Sofie. And encouragingly, already, Sarper is starting to think like a dad.
I will take blanket for her because it can be cold.
Good idea.
I'm a father figure. Fathers thinks everything.
Yeah, that is the thing a dad would think of.
Sarper genuinely seems nervous, right? He desperately wants Sofie's approval. He wants this life with Shekinah. He wants to be a father figure, and it shows. Like, it's nice to see. It's nice that this self-professed bad boy is now so considerate. He's clearly put a lot of thought into this meeting. He's booked something special for them all.
I think it's so cute that Sarper booked a whale watching trip. It's going to take pressure off of this meeting to have something fun.
I have never seen a whale.
You've never seen a whale in your life?
From house cows and sea lions to whales. Just look at him. Like, I really do believe that Sarper's love for animals is a green flag. But let's not forget, it's not whales that he needs to impress. Sarper's scared because he knows he's only got one chance to make a first impression. And after all the stories that Sofie's heard about him, she's gonna be watching him like a hawk.
I want to get to know him more as a person as well. I like to see him treat my mom with respect, as in the way he talks to her. It's kind of common sense on some of the things you say and you don't.
Now, unfortunately, for as much planning and thought has gone into this whale trip, things quickly take an unexpected turn. Yeah, what's that famous saying? The best laid plans of mice and men often go awry? Well, that's exactly what happens here. You see, after meeting up with Sofie and boarding the boat, there's hardly any time to talk, much less to see any whales, before all three of them get hit with seasickness.
I mean, it's the first impression seeing Sofie for the first time. And right now everyone is sick.
I mean, it's a nightmarish scene, isn't it? The three of them are stuck on the boat, eyes closed, desperately waiting for the trip to come to an end. This really isn't how Sarper imagined such an important moment to go. But despite the disaster and the humiliation of having to vomit into a bag, I think actually it's not necessarily the worst way in the world to break the ice with Sofie. Like, hopefully in years to come, they'll be able to look back at this and laugh. But that said, I do understand why Sarper is now freaking out.
She will always think that moment when she sees me. I have a whale face right now for her. Splashing.
This could actually be a good topic for you to add to your stand-up routine.
That's how we're all going to see you from now on, Sarper. Whale face just splashing away. But hey, look, eventually the boat ride from hell ends and they make it back onto solid ground. And this, finally, gives them the opportunity to actually have a conversation. Now, Sarper starts quite sweetly, considering it's not exactly his fault, by issuing an apology.
I just want to apologize to you because of this day. I mean,
Oh, it's okay. Going on a boat ride sounded nice, but I don't think any of us expected it to be so cold and terrible.
Now, the conversation quickly actually gets quite deep. Sarper opens up to Sofie about how much pressure he was feeling about today, how nervous he got. He wants to try and explain to Sofie that the reason he cares so much is because he's a whole new man. I'm not that guy you may have been warned about, he says.
It's so difficult to say these kind of things because 2 years ago, when I met with your mother, I was totally a different man.
Now, speaking of old Sarper, unfortunately, old Sarper's actions have now left new Sarper with a lot of making up to do. You see, Sarper raises the issue of his infamous first meeting with Shekinah's sister, Sharia. It's that meeting that Sofie has heard all about. It's that meeting that's coloured her impressions about him. Now, Sarper tries to explain to Sofie that back then, he just really didn't care what anyone thought about him.
I really didn't care what her sister says.
You didn't care what she would say, meaning what?
No, I didn't. I care because of my mindset, you know?
Yeah.
But modern Sarper cares a lot, and so too does Sofie. You see, in a very mature, very impressive way, Sofie explains to Sarper that while they aren't really going to get to see each other all that much because she's in boarding school, it is his responsibility to make the effort to repair the damage that he's caused to her family, in particular with her aunt, Sharia.
I hope that we can get like a fresh start on that and that you can maybe prove yourself to my family. I want more of like a better impression for all of them.
Okay, I will do my best. You will see.
Sofie's request of Sarper is very valid, and more so because, remember, we've been told Shekinah's relationship with all of her family is now fractured. They don't really even speak anymore. Sarper is the cause of that, or more accurately, Shekinah's choice to stay with Sarper is the cause of that. And I guess given how close he is to his family, Sarper knows it's on him. He has a responsibility to try and fix the broken relationships. So while today may have begun as a disaster, the way it's ended has left Sofie with a positive impression of Sarper.
Hearing him take responsibility for how the situation with him and Shreya did go downhill really opened my eyes as to how he has changed and how he could change even more in the future.
If Sofie is leaving today thinking that Sarper has changed, well, I consider that a success. I mean, realistically, that's the best they were going to get from this first meeting, wasn't it? It is still the first meeting. It's still early for her to give her approval, but they have taken very positive, albeit small, first steps in that direction.
I know you guys want my, approval for all of this, and I obviously, I just feel like I do need more time.
Yeah.
Because I still don't fully know you, Sarper,
I understand.
Again, well done, Sofie. She's articulated her position clearly, and it's a very fair position. Now, Sarper says that he understands, and just to take it one step further, Sofie then goes on to implore them both to use these 90 days wisely. It's not just about the two of you anymore, she reminds them. It's about all of us, our family relationships. And again, in a very mature way, Sofie has set her expectations. She's made it very clear to Sarper what he needs to do.
If they have a good impression about me, then Sofie will have one. I mean, everything is connected to each other. And right now, everything is on me.
Sarper may feel like he has the weight of the world on his shoulders, but the truth is, the reason why he has a lot of work to do is because of his actions. It's difficult to feel sorry for him. For as likeable as modern Sarper is, everything he's going through right now is a direct consequence of past Sarper. So the time has now come to face the consequences.